Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very fortunate, very honored to be joined now by a Canadian icon. This is a guy who has been making us laugh for a very long time. I'm not trying to age anybody here. Let's just
But
say a
you
very
are aging everybody.
let's just say a very long time. Jeremy Hotz, who will be bringing his Marquis Du Sad Tour
Mhm.
to the Meridian Theater at Center Point on September the 8th. So excited to be speaking with him today. Jeremy, how are you?
I'm good, and that's the thing. Everybody goes, "Why the Marquis de Sade?" Right away. Everybody says that, and that's because miserable. I used to be known as the master of misery. That's
Okay.
what they called me. But then they felt that I needed an official title, so they said, "Well, what about the Marquis de Sade?" And then I said, "Well, there's an E at the end, so it doesn't work at all." And then they said, "Well, we'll just drop the E." And then I said, "Well, then it's not spelt correctly, but go ahead and do it because it's funny." That's it. That's all I said. So there it is.
Fair enough. This is interesting because one of your previous tours was Dangerously Handsome. So one does have to wonder how you go from being Dangerously Handsome, accurate assessment by the way, to
Yeah.
Marquis de Sade, which is interesting
Well,
because you
for
always
me,
make
it's
us
all
all
about the
laugh.
poster. Like, I really try to make the poster like amusing. I took the ugliest picture I possibly could of myself and said dangerously handsome. And then this is really funny because one of my fans wrote, my daughter, she's 9 years old. She saw the DVD sitting there and she saw your face and she saw dangerously handsome and she handed it to me and said, "Mom, he's not."
Evil. Kids are too
Evil little kid.
kids
Already
are
at
too
9,
cruel.
they can spot ugly.
No filter on those kids. So listen, before we get into your upcoming show in Ottawa, again, tremendous respect for you. I mean, I find that when you're, as I am doing research for this, there are clips of your performances from like maybe a couple of years ago, from like 7 years ago. You're always on point. You're always funny. What would you say is like some of the keys to the success of having such a long, successful career?
I think that for me, to be brutally honest with you, I think that because of the anxiety disorder, I don't really do that well in the real world. But I think on stage, I'm much better in front of a group of people. I'm much more comfortable on stage than I am off stage, and I think that's what it is. It's not really an act for me. I just go on and it's me continued and I just keep talking, except it's not to myself anymore. It's to an audience.
Yeah. Fair, fair. And it's so interesting you say that. I remember seeing an interview with Chris Rock once, and he was talking about how he goes on stage and he kind of goes into a trance, does his performance kind of, he likened it to like the Incredible Hulk, and then reverts back and it's like, okay, I'm done. Did I hurt anybody? So I kind of find like when you're going on stage, it's a completely different world.
Well, yeah, because that's your thing. And it's almost like you forget and then you're reminded within the first minute. The audience reminds you in a second, like in seconds, like, hey, we're here at the. So, and then you're like, okay, yeah, that's right. I do this. But yeah, you're right. It's like a, I can't explain it to you. It's like you just feel like a different, there's a different way about you that come, and it's just
Mhm.
it's a natural thing. It's not anything that you're putting on or any of that. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
it's a level of your personality that comes out. That's
Yeah,
all.
no,
You know.
absolutely. Now you're somebody who has been performing during the pandemic, and of course, during those times we saw, of course, with capacity levels had changed and things of that nature. But you came,
Yeah.
but you came out and you said, "Hey, listen, it's your job to bring the audience together, and either people have it or they don't." And clearly, you're somebody that has it and has that ability. How is that shift been for you in terms of you're going from performing to like a full theater, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you have to
You
bring
know
it down
what?
a little
Honestly
bit.
speaking, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. As you know, you have the mic and I've got the thing, and then it doesn't matter the number of people. Like when we did the pandemic, I did one theater. I didn't even know they had these rooms, but did you know that theaters have like other rooms? Like they have the big theater room, and then they got these other rooms where they put on like weddings and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
so what they did was they because it was the pandemic and nobody was really going out, I still went because I'm like that. I just went on. I flew to Canada and I played a gig in British Columbia. And what happened was the theater, they put me in that wedding room. And here's the way they did it. All right. It was like, you know, those giant wedding tables, the big round ones that they have the white tablecloths on that like 25 people can sit at, those giant things. So they had like those.
Okay.
All right. And they put those giant tables 6 feet apart from the other giant table. And they put the tables 12 feet from the stage. And they put 2 people at each one of those tables. That's what it was. That was the room. And then, so let me tell you what it was like. It's like at one point, a plane flew by. Okay. So we listened to that for a while. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing. You know, but they were really happy that we came out, and then we took pictures afterwards, but we did socially distanced pictures. It was just crazy. I mean, and then I did some clubs afterwards, and like some places were really strict about the mask, you know, like if the people couldn't take their picture with the mask, and if the guy pulled his mask down, someone from the club would yell at him. It's like, put your mask back on. Like they got really like militant about it, you know?
Yeah.
Much more than they did in the States, you know? Yeah, Canada really, man, they just listen and they follow rules, you know? Like if you put up the bank line, you know, the bank with the ropes and stuff.
Yeah.
In Canada, the people stand behind each other. You go to America, there are people all over the place. You ask them, are you in the rope? Oh, yeah, I'm in the line. It's like, what are you doing over there? They don't listen, you know?
You've often talked about the difference between performing in front of a Canadian crowd and in front of a crowd in the States. What are some
completely
of
different? It's
what are some of the differences?
Different things to me.
Yeah.
I do different things for the Americans that I do for the Canadians. Absolutely. Yeah,
because you know it can be so divided in the States, you know, with the whole red state, blue state. Do you find that you also have to be so particular with your material depending on where you're performing? So, for example, I know you have this really funny bit in regards to Saskatchewan being really flat. Your friend's girlfriend broke up with him. He saw her walking away for 5 days. On your tour, you're going to Regina.
I forgot about that one. That's a long time ago.
Brilliant. Yeah. You're going to be going to Regina. You can do that joke in Regina.
Oh, they'd be mad if I didn't.
Right?
Yeah, it's just people in Saskatchewan are like, they love when you rag on them, and if they know that if you rag on them, then they come to see you to hear you do it, and if you don't do it, they get mad at you.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, do you find when you're performing in the States, you're in Florida, you're like, okay, maybe I don't want to do that joke here, or
I wouldn't. I would do other stuff. Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty to talk about that goes on in the United States. Yeah. Trust me, every day something happens here. My God. You know,
so they're pretty good at being able to laugh at themselves, you find, as well. Like if you're making a Florida joke in Florida, you're
good. My American fans are, but you're right about that. They don't seem to have the ability to make themselves the butt of the joke. They don't do that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They, you know, I don't know what that comes from. I guess they have very large egos and they win too many medals at the Olympics, the Americans, and they think that they're all better. I don't know.
There it is.
Canada, we a bronze, and we're
happy. We're gold.
A bronze is fine. Yeah. It's, you know, it's metal.
Yeah, we placed. We're good. We're good. Do you find it difficult coming up with material?
No.
Again. No, okay.
No, I make it up as right there in the thing. A lot of stuff that you'll see me at the center point, I'm hearing it for the first time too. I mean, it's trust, right? So you trust yourself and you go, or some things that you've thought about that you haven't really worked through. I just do them anyway and then see where I go. All the time. All the time. I enjoy that. It's interesting for me. It's like doing it's like you go to the circus, you know, remember the circus? They used to have the circus before they banned it. So you go to the circus and the guy that walks across the tightrope, you know, you pay more attention to the guy that doesn't have a net. And that's what that is. That's what you do in stand up. You know what I mean? You just going off book like that and challenging yourself is like walking across a tightrope without a net, which is great.
It's interesting because when I've watched a lot of your stuff, and to me it always seems so polished. It's like I'm watching a routine, like I'm watching something that you've you've crafted. There are sometimes you see some stand-up comedy, and we'll kind of touch on this in a little bit, where it's kind of, okay, you're working the audience, and it's like, so where are you from? How do you two meet? That's not really your style.
I
You
don't
come out
really
with
do
actual
how
stuff.
where you from and any of that crap. I just
Yeah.
within the bit. Within the bit that I'm doing, it's almost like I ask the audience for their opinion, and then I start talking to them about how wrong their opinion is. That's all. See what I'm saying? It's like that.
Yeah.
Like it's more of a conversation than it is. I don't care where they're from Ottawa. That's obviously, you know what I mean? I'm in Ottawa.
It's fair.
You know?
What are some things that people can expect who aren't familiar with you, who can expect from your show?
Well, they're going to see the angst riddled, like I said, it's not really an act. It's just I bring myself and this character on stage, who I am. And I've been doing this so long, I'm not like anyone else you've ever seen before. And I think you can attest to that.
100%.
Totally unique thing. It really is. People go, describe yourself. And I'm like, I'm the guy with the big nose. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Describe yourself.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing in the world for a Canadian, for some reason, is to praise themselves in any way. Have you noticed that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Like, merch, like after the show, like going merch, like I even don't like doing the merch because I'm ashamed. Isn't that weird?
It is a little weird.
Yeah. Americans come, they show up with their merch. They got suitcases full of merch. The suitcase folds out into a store. It's ridiculous. Canadians, like, I don't know if I want to do this. You know what I mean?
Yes, but we are also a group of people that will have somebody else bump into us, and then we'll say, "Excuse me." So I'm sorry. So that's kind of how we roll.
We do that. You know? But then when we're walking away, we think, "What an asshole! That guy should really watch where he's going." We just don't say it out loud like Americans do.
It's interesting because looking at your comedy, I see elements of kind of like a little bit of Mitch Hedberg, maybe a little bit of John Panetta, a little bit of different people, but you're your own unique person, right?
I came up at the same time as those guys. That was the style back then. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same token, you're very
both
original.
Those guys, to be brutally honest with you, were friend, like I love those guys. You know what I mean? Like it was, I adored them, and both unfortunately passed away, which is, it happens. I mean, people, it's an interesting life to be a stand-up. I won't say it's a difficult life. I will, because people do say it is. I say there are temptations, and because of the way that you feel and as a performer, sometimes you give into those, and that's the way that it is, and that's just out of sheer sadness. That's what it is. Everybody has problems, and when you're a comic and you have all day to think about your problems, you're going to know what they are.
Fair. Now, alluding to that, one of the things that I tremendously respect about you is that you've been extremely open and honest about your own dealings with anxiety. Do you feel that here we are in 2022? Do you feel that we're in a better place in terms of having open conversations as it relates to mental health?
I don't know about that. I don't really know. I mean, I say it because it's part of my life and I have to explain it. I mean, at times, I don't have just a little bit of anxiety. I have a thing where you don't understand, like if when it's really bad, I can't leave the house, sort of deal, I just can't. So, you don't want it to get to that point. So I got to keep an eye on it, and it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then it'll attack. It's like a horrible man waiting around the corner to grab you, and you just got to deal with it and know that everybody has issues, and not to, like everybody, like the happiest guy in the world has problems, or, and I know what the problem is with the happiest guy in the world. He's only happy because he's nuts. He hasn't noticed anything, That's it. I always think that the people that notice more stuff, the people that are, I hate to say this, but more intelligent, I really believe they have more mental difficulties. They do, because they analyze every little thing and then they make it worse and worse and worse, That's it. Whereas the other guy just goes, huh? And then he's okay. I wish I was that guy. Huh? That guy's great,
Well, I know one of the things that has helped you is your wonderful dog Shackleton, or
Yeah, I
Shack for
do.
the
He's
or
here
Shack
even.
for
Hey,
those on the
Shaq, are you
inside
going to get
track.
up and come on the show? You want to come
Yeah,
on?
I
He's
I
looking at me like, not really, Dad. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't
yeah
really want to get. They really go on your time schedule, right?
yeah.
And they really are like you. Your dog turns into like you, you know? Like
Hmm.
if I was, okay, put it this way. He doesn't have to do anything right now. So he gets up with me, but then he just goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
If I was the dog, I would do the exact same thing.
Well, I know that the relationship between the two of you is legendary. I'm a little sad that Shaq wasn't able to make an appearance, but I get it. I get it.
You
I
know
didn't
what?
clear this with I
I
didn't
can
clear
see
this
if
with
if
Shaq.
he'll do it. I'll go get him. Watch this. Watch this.
All
Shaq,
right.
here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come and say hi to the people. They want to see you because you know what? You're more popular than me. That's the thing. Because of him, I've become here he is. Because of him, I've become I guess people at the beginning they might have been a little tentative with me because I'm so different. But once the dog comes running out onto the stage, now they come right up to you, right? My God, he really opened up me as a performer. I think they were afraid, and I thought they were, I don't know about this guy. But then once the dog came out and they saw that I was actually a regular guy with just a little mental difficulty, they're okay with it now. You
Jeremy, I
know?
think it's a dog thing. I have to tell you, I've been walking in my neighborhood every day for years. Earlier this year, I got a Bernedoodle. Now, all of a sudden, people who barely chatted with me or just did like a hi as I walked by, they all want to do a stop and chat and,
It's
and have like
amazing,
these
isn't
long
it? Yeah,
conversations. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And heaven forbid the days that Silva, my dog's not with me. It's like, where's Silva? I'm here too. So yeah,
You know,
it's
I
a thing.
remember that. I remember that. Do you live in Ottawa?
I do.
Okay, well, I lived in Toronto for the longest time, and they have the subway there. I know they
Yeah.
have a train in Ottawa. Wait a
Yeah.
minute, does the train even work? Because I
Yeah.
heard that you built a
Yeah.
train, and then I
I'm
don't
not
know,
I'm
the
not here to
tracks fell apart, or it was made out of Lego, and it
I'm
didn't
not
work.
yeah.
It doesn't work,
I'm
right?
not here to endorse that you would take that train anytime soon.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
stinks. Do the doors open? Because I heard that it would just drive by and the doors wouldn't open, and that annoys customers.
Yeah, they kind of want to get in and out. So yeah, that can be
Okay,
a
have
bit
you
of a
ever been on
problem.
it?
No, no, that's why
Okay,
I'm
and you
here.
live there, so don't take it, is what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Wow.
much.
I
Pretty
hear it's
much.
really fast, and that's because the doors don't open. It never stops.
Pretty much. Listen, I want to be cognizant of your time. I'm coming at you now with some fun rapid fire questions.
Oh,
Basically, I'm
geez.
gonna hit you with some fun questions. Jeremy, stay with
Okay.
me. I'm gonna hit you with some
Okay.
fun questions. First thing that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm
Okay.
predominantly a movie guy, I always start with this. Jeremy, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Clockwork Orange.
Love it. Great film. And obviously, in respect to you, who are some of your favorite comics?
George Carlin was my favorite when I was growing up. I saw him at the Art Center in Ottawa, and I said one day I'm going to do that. And
Nice.
my brother took me. I was like 14.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it all happened because I became a comic because no one would hire me to get a job, or I never got anything, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah, I went into Harvey's like when
Okay.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
They hired all my friends except for me. Nobody liked the look on my face.
I would say it worked out. I think this is better than like a Harvey's management position, with all due respect. I think you're doing well.
Okay, they do have nice hats.
They do have nice hats, and they've got the microphone, but you've got your own microphone too. So there's that.
They do have
Um,
the mic. They
they
do.
do. They
It's
do.
still the best burger, I have to say. I
Yeah.
miss it living here.
All right, I need you to settle something for me. So we kind of
Yes.
alluded to this earlier. You go to stand up. I get that the a night of stand up comedy, usually at a show like Yuck Yucks or what have you. I get that the opening person comes out and does like the whole "Where is everybody from? Do we have any birthdays?" to set up the other people coming out later. Specific to the other people coming out later, somebody who does their whole show in terms of where are you from, who are you with, how'd you two meet, what are you guys doing here? Do you think that that's lazy comedy? Or do you think that's brilliant for being able to pick things up on the fly?
Ah, it's a really good question. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
And the difference is where you're from is hacky.
Yeah.
But if you talk to the audience and you're making up bits, well, that isn't.
Okay.
That's genius.
Okay.
So there's a fine line there, and you
Okay.
caught it right away.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Cool. Cool. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, very long, successful career, but you also have a personal life. You go and you do other things. Do you find that you're under this constant pressure to be funny? Like you're at the grocery store, somebody recognizes you. Now, do you feel like you need to make them laugh? You're at a dinner party. Do you have to like be in the middle of the
I
dinner table
don't.
to make people
I'm
laugh?
me, and then if they find me amusing, they do. Like a lot of times, I'll tell you, like stand, like your act doesn't work in real life. A lot of
Yeah.
times, you just go and you just, I'll say something funny at the supermarket to the lady at the deli counter, and she'll just stare at me because she has absolutely no sense of humor whatsoever. And
Yeah.
some people are just like that.
Yeah.
Some people are completely humorless. It's just the way it is. You know, the way some people have a great sense of humor, some
Mm.
people have none at all.
Yeah.
Politicians mostly.
Very, very true. Listen, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was an absolute honor chatting with you. I know that everyone here in the 613 and the 819, the Ottawa area codes, by the way, are extremely excited about you coming to the
Oh, that's
Meridian
adorable.
Theater. Yeah, the Meridian Theater at Centerpoint, September the 8th, the Marquis Du Sad Tour.
Yes. What is the
Which,
meridian? What is the meridian? What is that? Because it just used to be the center point.
yeah,
Is that? Is it a whole shopping complex now or something?
I'm honestly not sure.
Okay.
I know they're putting on some amazing shows there. Obviously, if you're going there, they know what they're doing. But in terms of where did the name come from, I will be honest with you, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But regardless, we're going to be very excited
Well, I'm
to
excited,
roll out the
man.
red
I
carpet for you
mean,
to
what was
come.
the other? Like when I was a kid, it was 613. That was the area
That
code.
was
What's
it.
the other one?
819.
No, we didn't have that.
Yeah, that's over for our friends over on the Gatineau side.
Vanier, you mean over there?
No, over on the Quebec side.
It's Quebec's own.
Yeah,
So it's Hull, right?
yeah, Hull, now Gatineau.
Got it. I used to drink in Hull when I was, 9.
No doubt you did. No doubt you did. Well, listen, again, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Wishing you all the best, and thanks so much for doing this today.
Thank you.